Well, we've come into Elul. We're about to hit Parshat Shoftim. One of the major topics that I want to discuss briefly with you is the concept of fear. Pasuk in Amos is Aryeh Sha'ag Milo Yira. And the Shlach Kadosh says that this fear of the lion roaring, refers to the time period that we have just begun. Aleph for Elul, Reish Rosh Hashanah, Yud Yom HaKippurim, Hey Hoshana Rabbah. And the truth is, when we talk about fear, it's a mixed bag. There are certain good fears, and there are certain fears that we don't want for us to have. For example, the pasuk says, Ashrei Adam Mifached Tamid. Praiseworthy is the one who is Mifached Tamid. And here, the Sharei Tshuva brings down that Ashrei Adam Mifached Tamid is a person who's going through the Tshuva process. And if he thinks that he's already reached and he's a full, complete person, Ashrei Adam Mifached Tamid. You're not complete. You have to continue working on yourself. This is a good fear. Another good fear, what the Gemara brings down, Ashrei Adam Mifached Tamid, is a person who forgets Torah. And he knows that he has to either do Chazara, he knows that he's incomplete, as the Maharal explains, and therefore knows that he has to continue working on it in order that he knows that he doesn't get arrogance. And the idea of good fears, whether it's one of that your tshuva is not complete, or number two, knowing that you're human, that you forget Torah, and you have to continue working, doing Chazara, as Rashi says in Masechet Brachot, or just in general, being able to recognize who you are as a mortal human being. However, many of us, when we think about fear, there's also the fear that paralyzes us. And that's something that Rav Soloveitchik was asked by a psychologist, says, how could we daven uvechein tein pachtecha Hashem Elokeinu al kol ma'asecha? Isn't fear, that type of fear, bad? And at first glance, Rav Soloveitchik answered, if it's pachad Hashem, that comes and that squashes all other fears. But later on in the article in the Sefer of Yimei HaZikaron, he explains that the truth is that is only the first stage of being able to have a certain level of fear of pachad of Hashem. The ultimate is the yirah, is the yirat shamayim. Is not just the pachad of fears, but is uvechein tein pachtecha Hashem Elokeinu al kol ma'asecha. For what purpose? Of yiraucha Elokim al kol ma'asecha. Being able that everyone should have a certain awareness. Pachad is a certain phobia. It's a certain emotional existence, Rav Soloveitchik explains, that could paralyze you. But yira is very connected to the word of re'eh, which we did last week's parsha. It's something that is also rational. It's something that you could see. It's something that's very tangible that you're able to achieve. The truth is, we have in this week's parsha, towards the end, the exemptions for going to war. One of those exemptions is when a person is fearful. The question is, it's a machlokes between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yossi HaGlili, is how literally do you take the pasuk of Mia Ish Hayarei V'Rach Levav? Is it that you're just fearful? Is it you're fearful of your Averot, that you're not be able to properly fight in the war? The Stipler in his sefer called Birchat Peretz brings down that the fear that is brought down both by the Rambam and the Ramban, he says, of course, naturally you go into a war, you might have adrenaline, you might have emunah, but there's going to be fear, and that's not a problem. The fear that the Torah asers is when you look at the enemy in the face and then say, whoa, I can't do it. They're too big for us. Iran and ISIS, they're too big for us. As opposed to understanding that we have the Ribono Shalom that's together with us, that he's fighting with us. There was a movie called Coach Carter that had a beautiful, beautiful quote about fear. That the coach asked one of the players, what's your deepest fear? And I want to quote for you. He said, our deepest fear is that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. You playing small doesn't serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And when we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do so, to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So as opposed to a lot of people when we come and we think about fear, and we think about the pachad the paralysis that happens as a result of fear. I wanted to come as we start the Yomim Noraim and think about that idea of what the Rambam says in Perish Mishnayos, that it's not the fear of running away from Hashem, but it's rather what the Rambam says in the 4th parak, it's the Yemei Bricha El Hashem. It's the fleeing towards Hashem. It's the fleeing towards ourselves, of liberating ourselves, of being able to have the good fears. The ones that, if we forgot Torah, to know that and work at it. If it's about tshuva, to go and make sure that we're continuously working on ourselves. And with that, Be'ezrat Hashem, we'll be able to overcome any of our own personal fears to be successful in our tshuva process this El. Shabbat Shalom.